Well, hello and welcome to a tier ranking of all 12 songs on this album, Keep Me Fed by The Warning, their fourth album, of course, released in June 2024. So, unlike previous album rankings I've done here, it's not 50 or 60 years old, it's not even 2 years old, but it's still worth hearing and ranking. And, some people, when it comes to this group, if you don't know, always say live. Live is where it's at with them. And yeah, that's maybe true. And indeed, I've seen them live, and there's a review of the concert that I saw up on the channel elsewhere. I like the studio versions just as much. Maybe I'm alone in that, but yeah. I mean, and this is what I tend to listen to albums. I don't tend to watch videos on YouTube much, or listen to music that way, or streaming or whatever. So I appreciate what I do might not be what you do or what you like, but that's who I am. I can't be anyone other than me, apart from when I'm paid to act. Right. Anyway, so I'm going to be going through, as I say, all 12 songs on this album and placing them into one of these five categories. Right at the top, we have Pow Pow Pow, which is a pun on the drummer's name, for those who don't know, and just means absolute top of the top, sheer perfection of a song. Uh, One level down from that is Warning Shot, haha, which is still really fantastic. Top quality song, but just not amazing. Middling is the fair warning category, and that just means it's decent, but not going to change your life. And then below there, we are warned off it because it's not very good. And finally, my regular bottom category, my initials, JSB, or just so bad. Now, to be fair, some of these categories may not be used too much today, or indeed at all, but we shall see. So I'm going to listen to two tracks at a time and then place them into these categories. If you want to listen along with me, there will be a link below to a longer version of this video where you can do that. Otherwise, you'll just get the start of one song and the end of the other here, and I'll be categorizing them, and you can see if you agree with me. And if you do, you can let me know. And if you don't, you can let me know. That's what the comment sections are for. Hooray! Um, Obviously, most of you watching this are probably going to be Warning fans already, but if you're not, I highly suggest you listen to this album with me or in any other way of your choosing so that you know what the hell I'm going on about. Right. Shall we dive in? Yes, let's. All right. The more we fill these categories up, the more I'm going to have to shut to one side and shrink myself down. So look forward to that as we go along. But for now, I can be front and center as we go into the first two tracks, which are, of course, as you see below already, 6 Feet Deep, followed swiftly by Sick. Let's do it. Uh-huh. All right. What a killer one-two punch to open this album, and indeed the live show that I saw. You really can't get much better than these two tracks, and that is why number one, 6 Feet Deep, is going straight up into Pow Pow Pow. And do you know what? So is Sick. Um, Not everything is going up here. Okay, I'm not that fanatical that I think everything that they've done is the best song ever. But these two really kick things off in great fashion. And I should mention that this album is produced by Anton DeLost, who co-writes everything with the Three Girls, and then they have various other co-writers on some songs. Dan Lancaster on 6 Feet Deep, and a couple of others that we'll get to later. Um, yeah, I mean, as I say, listening to the studio production, great drum sound on here. I mean, Cal always sounds great, but you can really get the detail that you don't necessarily get in the live setting. I'm not going to keep banging on about whether they're better live or not. They're fantastic live, obviously, but I just think sometimes people go too far away from listening to the studio stuff. Anyhow, and yeah, of those two tracks, I mean, 6 Feet Deep. I'm not sure why that was never one of the singles from this album. Sick, of course, was and has done pretty nicely for them. Went to number 8 on Billboard's mainstream rock chart. Was in there for like 5 months. Um, Not bad going, huh? Um, but yeah, time to move on to our next pairing of tunes, which is, of course, going to be Apologize, and the one I can't say because it's in Spanish and I'm pathetic. Que Mas Queras? Yeah, I might edit that out. I might not. We'll see. All right. Either way, I'm not going to apologize.
I only ache in the wake of a broken never there. Dime, ¿qué más quieres?
All right. Uh, Tracks 3 and 4. Apologize and Que Mas Queras. I'm getting slightly better at saying that, but hey. Now, Apologize is one I really like because one of the reasons I like it is Danny's vocals. I mean, she's always great. That's the thing with these girls is that you could say the same thing on literally every song that they play and sing amazingly, and that's because they do. Um, but I think she particularly shines on this track, and she shows some of her range. There's that little sweet coda, and then she's really attacking the chorus. It's great. But is it as great as the first two tracks? It's damn close. But I've got to be slightly objective at times and say, I actually could put it up there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to put it in warning shot, which just means still really bloomin' fantastic. What am I going to do about the Que Mas Queras selection? I have to ask myself. And where I'm going to put this is a reflection of me and my failings as a human being, not on them or the song or the fact that it's sung in Spanish, which of course they have every damn right to do as much as they want. Um, but yeah, it just doesn't resonate with me as much for that reason, even though musically and vocally it's just as strong as anything else here. But um, yeah, you may very well be saying, "Care?" at me putting it just in the middling fair warning, to which I can only respond, I'm from Barcelona. I know nothing. Um, yeah. But let's also face it, these bottom two categories aren't being used today. Spoiler alert. Uh, or are they? Am I just giving you a false sense of security? No, no, I'm not. Okay, let's move on to pairing number three. And one of the other great things about this album is that pretty much everything is in the 3 to 3.5 minute range. I think actually Apologize is the longest track here at 3 minutes 41. Um, so short, sharp songwriting, get in, do what's needed, and get out again. Some of the music I listen to very much doesn't do that, and it doesn't make it better or worse. It's just different. Um, but these songs work. Uh, they're doing exactly what they want to be doing, um, and it means the album as a whole just passes by before you know it, really. So let's carry on with some more. Yeah, the next track's more. And then Escapism. So yeah, here is more. Another single from this album. Um, let's see what we think. All right. Oh, it's going to be time for me to shove myself over a little bit, so I'm going to head that way. Watch me go. Yeah, that's all right for now. Okay, more and escapism. Two more, pun actually not intended for once there, great songs. Because, as they really all are, I mean, this is high energy, punchy stuff that you shouldn't really be, as I am now, sat down listening to. And I wouldn't normally. I, in fact, very, very rarely am sat down when I'm listening to anything, and certainly not stuff like this. But hey, in order for the magic of recording to happen, it's a necessary evil. Right. Where am I slotting those two? Uh, they're both going into the same category as each other. Um, and that category is warning shot. So, yep, basically, two more hits for me. Um, there's more. There's escapism's trying to escape up into the top level, but no, I can't let you stay up there. Sorry. Yeah. As I say, if you disagree with any of these categorizations that I'm giving these songs, then feel free to tell me why. Um, I'm only going by what I feel in my heart. And yeah, what I feel is that this is a very, very strong album. We're halfway through it, so we've got 6 more songs, obviously, 3 more pairings of 2 to listen to each time, and yeah, let's carry on and hope that we are satisfied and not feeling any burnout. Yeah, the next 2 tracks are Satisfied and Burnout. You've probably already worked out that I am a puntastic kind of guy. Yeah? Yeah, I know. As I said earlier, I'm well aware of many of my failings as a human being, including that. Anyhow, uh, I'm just a really fun guy, okay? A bit cheeky, a bit naughty. Yeah, right. Satisfied. All right. Satisfied and Burnout. Again, broken record. 2 really good songs. Are they both going to high levels on the tiers, though? Well, we shall see. But I was satisfied, and I'm highly satisfied with Ali's bass work on this one. I mean, I am on everything, but I haven't mentioned her, and I feel like I need to because she's fantastic. Almost a secret weapon of this band. If the other 2 weren't as well, they don't really have a secret weapon. They're all just weapons. Um, Speaking of which, I'm curious about the reasons for this. The uh, the full credits are in the book, which is one of the reasons you should buy physical media. Just saying. And I'm interested in the fact that when it comes to Danny, who of course I think of primarily as the lead singer and guitarist, her credits for each song begin background vocalist, which sure she does. Why would you put that first? So it goes background vocalist, guitar, vocals. Um, Kind of the opposite of how I do it. But hey, that's just an interesting aside. Well, at least I hope it was. Where am I putting Satisfied? I am putting it alongside all these other great songs in the warning shot category because it's just damn good. Um, Burnout, on the other hand, is really good, and I could understand people putting it higher than I'm about to, but for me, it's not quite as melodically pleasing as the rest of the songs here. So it's not quite up with the rest of these tracks for me personally. If it is for you, that's more than fine. I don't dislike it at all. It's just probably my least favorite of the English language songs here. But it's still really good, or at least good. So it's going fair warning for me. Um, yeah, nothing to say against it particularly. It just doesn't quite hit the heights that just about everything else does for me. Um, so we'll see if anything else goes down there, or if we're up. Well, will anything else go up at the very top? Yes, it will. We're on to our next pairing, which is our penultimate pairing. I told you this was going to whiz by. So the tracks here, of course, are Sharks and the first warning song I ever played on the channel, How You Call a Dream. Let's hear those ones and see where we're placing them today. All right. As you will see, shrank myself down a little bit in the middle of that. And that was Sharks and How You Call a Dream. I haven't really spoken about the lyrics on these songs. I do think that the lyrics are excellent. It's not really something I focus on as long as the music's catchy as hell, like theirs is. But these 2 songs are, dealing with their fame and working in the industry that they're in as 3 young women, as they are now. And I mean, they're women now, but they were children when they started, and have undoubtedly endured all kinds of terrible treatment along the way, probably. Um, if so, they're very resilient and have got through it. But Sharks is obviously dealing with metaphorical sharks rather than um, being a pitch for Jaws 5 whenever that gets made. Bound to happen at some point, isn't it? Yeah. Uh, so I think they handle those subjects very well, and then you get to How You Call a Dream, which is again just dealing with the pressures of uh, having a public persona, even though it's the thing that you wanted most in the world anyway, and everybody would just say to you, "Oh well, you got this fame. Why aren't you happy? It's just the price you pay, isn't it?" Because people can't understand what it's like to be in another person's shoes, but I can, because that's my job. Okay, where am I putting those songs then? Good question. Sharks is very, very, very good. Um, so it's joining these other very, very good slash excellent songs up here in warning shot territory. How You Call a Dream, and as I said, this is the song I listened to first from them, and maybe there's some bias because of that, but it just reminds me of why I was taken in by them so swiftly. I just think it's a fantastic song. Dan Lancaster involved on the writing and production of this one as he was on 6 Feet Deep. Patterns emerging? Maybe. But yeah, it's just killer. It was killer here, it was killer in the live video I watched, it was killer at the live show I went to. It's top tier. Pow, pow, pow for How You Call a Dream from me. Oh, yeah. And again, maybe you don't like that one. And you think it's just so bad. I find this unlikely, but again, just because I'm giving my opinion, it doesn't mean that I think it's the only one viable, okay? And suddenly we're left with just two final tracks, Consume and Automatic Sun. So, does this album end as strongly as it began? Let's find out and be consumed. And so it ends. All right, that's the music over, so I can take these big things off and show my other big things underneath them. Ah, there they are. All right, Consume and Automatic Sun. I believe Automatic Sun is Danny's favourite on the album, but we'll find out if it's mine shortly. Hmm. Two great tracks to end the album, and you know, a lot of albums, um, not just recently, but for all time, start really strongly and then they sort of peter out somewhere in the back third and end limply. But that's not what this one does. Uh, I would say these two tracks are amongst the strongest on the whole thing. And as a result, do you know what? Yes, you do. They are both, if I can grab hold of them, haha, there we go, coming up here to Pow Pow Pow. Um, and there's always, I'm not having to rank these songs in particular order. Of these five up here, Automatic Sun might be my least favorite of these five, and maybe is borderline for going just one level down, but nah. And it's also the third and final track on the album, co-written by this Dan Lassie? No, Dan Lancaster chap, who I haven't really encountered. He's worked with a load of different people, from Blink 182 to Muse to you name it. Kind of modern rock that I don't particularly follow. Um, so maybe I should delve into some of that. I would be very happy if he happened to be more heavily involved with their next album, whenever that's due. I don't even know if there's one in the works. Hope so. But yeah, meanwhile, this one, good isn't it? Um, Now, one thing I'll address is I've got five songs up here in the very top category. When I did the Beatles' Rebel Soul, I also had five songs up in the top category there. And I'm not saying that these are like for like. I'm not saying that Consume and Sick are as good as Nowhere Man or In My Life. They're not. Um, but they're really good. They make this album basically killer from start to finish. And more importantly, they keep me pumped up and happy. And sometimes you don't need much more than that. Even though there is, as I say, musical depth, there's lyrical depth, performances are great, top to bottom. There's nothing really I can say against this band. Um, there are those out there who are not not keen on them, don't want to join the Warning Army, and then they'll say silly things like, "Oh, the only reason certain men of a certain age like them is because they're beautiful young women." Um, well, maybe there's someone who got into them because they're perverts, but I find that quite unlikely. Certainly not my case, because obviously, for those who don't know, I couldn't care less about what they look like. Um, Anyhow, uh, yeah, what album? And as I say, I picked this album up very shortly after I first had the How You Call a Dream thing up on the channel. I still haven't gone back to the first 3 albums properly. Because what I find is I'll get the latest album by a band and get really into that, and then I'll go back and get a couple of the earlier ones and A, not play them as much or not get into them as much, and B, just sort of let them sit there and they sort of don't catch fire with me in the same way as the one that I've just got into. So your entry point is always an interesting one, but I will get into them at some point. If I should do them in this format, let me know, and I will consider doing so. But meanwhile, whatever comes next, I will definitely jump on board straight away with, and hope that it's half as good as this. If it is, it'll be damn fine. Yeah. So there we go. Just to recap for those who can't see what we've got: 5 songs in the top category, 6 Feet Deep, Sick, How You Call a Dream, Consume, and Automatic Sun. The last 3 songs on the album are 3 of the best. That's, I say, not always the way. 5 other songs that are almost as good as those: Apologize, More, Escapism, Satisfied, and Sharks. I love me a one-word song title, don't you? And then, not quite as good as those, but still decent songs. The Spanish one, I said it right once. I'm not going to spoil it by trying again. And Burnout. Yeah, not my personal favourites. Still good. If they're your favourites, great. Yeah. Well, there we are. As I say, lots more Warning stuff up on the channel if you haven't been here before. So do have a look around. There's a Warning playlist that might be floating around here somewhere about now, as well as a nice, pretty logo for you to click on to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Join the 500,000 other crazy folk who've done so and are still here. So thanks to all of those of you who already are, if that makes any sense at all. And thanks to those of you who are new today. Welcome aboard. And I will just say thanks for watching, and bye for now. I really hope not for long.
It's the end, but the moment has been prepared for.